Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Professionals You Should Know. This show is about uncovering the journeys of professionals from different industries. And today, we have the inspiring and superb Emel Vidal-Carr, who is a fashion designer director. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Cool, nice to meet you.
So, what is it that you do?
Well, my name is Emel Vidal-Carr, and I guess I'd like to describe myself as a creative director for a fashion company.
Okay.
Primarily because I don't think fashion designer quite describes it, and then I don't really like the term entrepreneur,
Right.
because I just don't really like it.
Alright, so what do you go by? Creative designer?
Creative fashion director.
Creation, okay.
Yeah, because I run a factory,
Wow.
so there's multiple roles within that. And then designing the collections, directing shoots, so yeah, it's very...
So you do all of that?
Well, it's my company, so I kind of
okay.
have had to learn how to do it before I'm able to delegate it to someone else. So.
Wow. So how did you become a fashion designer first, and then...
Well, my story
Yeah.
was that my mum was a dressmaker.
Okay.
Growing up in a household, seeing my mum sew. The funny thing is, I wasn't really interested in it, and I was one of the boys in school that used to kind of take the mickey of boys doing textiles.
Yeah.
And it's funny how life turns out, because when I eventually made the decision to start doing sewing and whatnot, I guess if you and my friends kind of thought, oh wow, that's a bit of a U-turn for you. But it came at a stage where I was doing, I think I did graphics, art, performing
year
arts,
11?
and music. This is like performing art. No, sorry, so A-levels.
Okay.
And I've always been a creative person, but then I kind of figured out I couldn't really make decent money.
No.
Well, I didn't know how to make decent money at that time.
Right.
So I thought, let me try and get into something still creative, but then I could get some changes to kind of earn a living.
Yeah.
And I just remembered, mum sews, so I started to watch her, pay close attention, and then she taught me how to make this denim suit, and then I just fell in love with the process.
Right.
Now, my parents, they were a bit unsure because coming from West Africa, Sierra Leone in particular.
Born and raised or born?
Well, I was born there,
Okay.
came here when I was 3.
Okay.
They probably wanted me to do something more academic.
Right.
But I've got an older sister who's an A-star student. She's always been, she's very intelligent.
Right.
But I knew from an early age, I can never compete
Intellectual level.
So let me just stay in my lane and excel at what I know I'm good at, and that was being creative.
Right.
So when I told them that I wanted to do a fashion degree, they didn't say much. It's not that they were displeased, they just wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And at the time I moved out of home, so this was when I was 17, 18, so that was unheard of in our culture, to move out home so young.
Oh really?
So they were worried, to say the least. And then I did started my degree at London College of Fashion.
How was that during that process? Was it alright?
Well, London College of Fashion is one of the best universities in the world to do a fashion degree.
Wow.
Now, my personal experience of it was that I don't want to be harsh and say it was a waste of time. I just felt that it was missold to me.
Really?
And I think our cohort as a whole, so I could have done without the degree.
Really?
Yeah, certainly. I could have taken the, what do they call it, the university fee that you have to pay, and just plug that into the business. And my chances of succeeding would have been equal.
Wow.
So I think got to year 2, I remember crying on the phone to my mum that I wanted to quit because I'd just gone through a harsh critique from a lecturer. And when you get lectured in a creative degree,
subjective.
Yeah, subjective.
Yeah.
So a bad design can sell in the millions.
Yeah.
So that was my issue with that, and because I had a few mentors that schooled me, so I came to fashion school with, I guess, a slightly pompous approach.
Right.
And I always wanted more. And my mum had taught me, so I was like, I know all this stuff. Like, what are we doing next?
Right.
So I just made the decision to coast through the rest of my degree instead of quitting the degree, because mum and dad would have been they would have been really annoyed with me. And then I just thought, let me just set up the business whilst I've got this free time on my hands. And then it fortunately it turned out well. Yeah.
That's an incredible story. So, I guess, so what was your like first piece that you did? What kind of reinforced that, yeah, this is definitely the career that you want to be on, and this is definitely what you want to do for the future?
Yeah, it was this denim suit that Mum kind of helped me to kind of work through, and then I finished the rest of it myself. And it was just something that I'd never, even though I'd grown up with it around me, I'd never experienced it for myself. So going from the start to finishing point, even though it was made terribly, it was just me being expressive.
Is that like getting the material, like how to find the material, what good materials, and how
cutting it, trying to work to measurements, and then being creatively free, which I feel I was more creatively free when I started out than how I am now.
And okay.
Because there's the pressure of making money.
Right. Fair enough. So then, what's your day-to-day basis? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? How do you run your company? What do you do? What's the day-to-day look like for you?
So like I said, I've got a factory service now that I've spent the past 10 years building.
Massive.
So my day is quite intense where...
So what do you mean building this factory? What happened? What was the start? How did...
I guess we need to go back a bit.
Go ahead. Talk me through it.
After I graduated from uni, the first brand I set up, that got quite a large contract selling with Topshop and ASOS.
Really?
Yeah, so this was within.
You had a contract with ASOS and Topshop?
Yeah, I was one of the first independent brands selling with ASOS. This was like 10, 12 years ago.
Wow.
And that came from, I guess, a bit of luck, because we first approached Topshop privately, and then they said no to us 2 times.
Right.
And I just took that no as, oh, not now.
Right.
Yeah. And then the third time, Topshop said yes, but we had an agent that negotiated the contracts and whatnot. And then ASOS said yes. Wow. And that was like
was that with the agent as well?
Okay. And that was it was a 300 unit order.
Wow.
But it was something, and then the next one was 2,000, and the next one.
Wow.
And so I was very much thrown in the deep end after graduating.
Wait, was it a particular design that you showed them, or what?
It was just a collection.
Oh, your own?
Yeah, my collection. Yeah, my company, my collection. I had a couple of my school friends that are my business partners, and I took the brand to New York, did Fashion Week over there.
You took it to New York?
Yeah, because at the time, Ken Livingstone, the mayor of London, had an initiative that they invited 20 of London's best designers, and I was one of them. And then I think they gave us £500, but the trip cost us like 10,000.
Wow!
We had to take staff, flights, hotels, everything. Yeah, so. So basically 2010, that brand, we had to close it because 2 main reasons.
Go ahead.
The recession hit.
Oh yeah, from 2008.
It was a writing on the wall for the brand. We'd had a good run, but then also I got in trouble with the law through my business partners.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, pretty big charge. Possession with intent to distribute Class A drugs, basically two counts. So ultimately, I was facing 5 to 7. And they literally scooped me up from I think it was January the 14th, 2009. My business partner got something unrelated to the business. But then when you are business partners, at that point they call it joint enterprise.
Right.
So then they came for me. I had to go no comment based on what my barrister told me to say. and did 4 months on remand. Went with Scrubs and Wandsworth. Bear in mind, I'm in Topshop and ASOS. So all those contracts went.
My God.
Trying to clear my name. The police interviewed my staff and they got me for my bank statements. Trying to create this picture that I'm some big time.
Like, no, my God.
Which far from the truth.
Yeah.
And then even some of the stuff they said in court was just crazy. It's like it was an out of body experience. Right. So I think was it 1st of May, the day before we were meant to go to trial for me.
Right.
They dropped the case.
Okay.
And there's no conversation. You just spat out and you have to start again. So I had called my customers and kind of said, I'm back. Let's create some appointments.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, they gave me some money.
Nice.
Calvin and Anne, who own a salon called Hype, they gave me some money, and I just had to build back up. And then obviously my sister.
Wow. Yeah.
So basically, from that story, I had to start again.
Right.
Because we lost our office, lost all the assets. And then I eventually met my wife, who is, I guess, my savior to really and truly, because I based the brand around her. So
nice.
The focus I then had was to build a factory for the brand so we can do our own manufacturing.
Yeah.
So that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And so we purchased the machines, and we got to the stage we are today. So that's the backstory.
Wow.
So,
wow. So now you've got your own factory, you've got your own brand.
Yeah.
So what is the brand?
The brand is Emile Vidal Car. So I named it after myself, which was actually my wife's ideal.
Smart.
Because I guess she'd never really liked the sound of your own name.
She
kind of convinced me that it had some value and prowess in terms of the kind of product we were doing.
So what's the kind of product that you're doing now?
Well, I design premium women's wear, premium to high end. So in terms of like the background of companies where I worked, I've done projects for Kanye West. I've done projects.
Done projects for Kanye West?
Yeah, Victoria Beckham.
Wait! How did you get these what?
That again was through an agent.
Wow.
That was probably, I think, 8 years ago. Because at the time when I met my wife, I was sleeping out in my studio. So I didn't really have a fixed abode.
Wow.
But the agent got me those contracts that I literally go to the studio, do the work, and then go home. So,
really? So what is it? Was it your like design that you was doing, or did they have a design?
I was hired as a technician.
Right.
To make the clothes. So there was a team of about 20, sometimes 60. If it's Alexander McQueen, there's 4 floors in McQueen. If you work past 7 o'clock, they'll buy you dinner. If you work past 10, they'll cab you home.
Oh, really?
So Alexander McQueen paid for my wedding, basically. Because I guess it was 6 weeks before we got married, and then my wife had covered her half of the wedding. Right. She looked at me like, Shad, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I thought, yeah, you're definitely my wife. She said, we.
Yeah, I like that.
The next day, I got the call from the Queen, and that was only for 1 day's worth of work. So I said to the it's called Judy, the floor manager.
Yeah.
Do you need me for any more work? And then she said, yeah, and it just went on for 6 weeks. But I did minimum of 100 hours a week for McQueen for 6 weeks straight. Because it was a run up to Paris, so they needed the
so it's Paris like the big...
it was Fashion Week, so it's either London, you got Milan, you got Paris, you got
New York,
and,
Wow. How did it feel like working for like Kanye and
I'd say it's definitely nice working for them. The job you do is essentially the same thing.
Okay.
I'd say McQueen for me had the most professional environment isn't the right word. I learned the most working at McQueen because they're so meticulous in terms of how they work. I joined McQueen after he died, so I was working under Sarah Burton, who made the dress for Duchess of Cambridge.
Okay.
So yeah, they've still got that really strong work ethic.
Yeah.
Most times I'm leaving there 2 a.m.
Jeez. So is it like so is your work schedule like at that time, was it from like morning, like from say
10 o'clock to 2 o'clock for 6 weeks straight. Yeah. And the only reason why I did go to Paris was because I was getting married the following week, so it just wouldn't have made sense.
God.
So, yeah.
And from all of that experience, now you've made your own brand. And
Yeah, definitely learned a lot from each of the other kind of companies I worked for. I mean, I worked on the project for the Australian Olympic team for the London 2012 Games with Adidas and Sportscraft. So we fit, I think it was like 800 of the Australian team.
Wow.
And yeah, that was another really fun job.
That's incredible. So I know starting back, you was doing your denims.
Yeah.
Why now high class women's wear? What was it for you that?
I guess to put it in context, when I moved out of mum and dad's,
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I moved out was because I wanted to do the made-to-measure service where I had friends coming in and out of the house any time of day.
Okay.
So with the African dad, he's not going to have it. Whether or not it's for work, he's not going to have it.
Yeah.
He'll see it as disrespecting his household. So I thought, let me just kind of move myself out of that situation and try and build this thing away from my parents, and then show them the results in a few years' time. So my friends would come to my house probably about 6 o'clock, and then by about 10, 11 o'clock they'd go to rave. It's something I'd made for them. So that's how I kind of built my craft. I've never been a going out person, so they went to the rave on their own. I'd stay in my house and do what I needed to do. But that period taught me how to provide good customer service, how to work under pressure, because they were literally in my bedroom. My bedroom was probably half the size of this room at the time, and then it just, I guess, helped me develop my technical skills. And then it got to a point where I had to almost delete all the numbers I had of those customers in my phone book, because I had to go from selling a dress for £50 to £300 to £500. So I had to really, that same clientele won't spend that. It's not that they may not have it, because they've seen it on the come up. The transition just doesn't work. So I had to go through that kind of period, and you're essentially broke because you're having to re-establish yourself amongst the clientele. So that's where working with the McQueens, the Victoria Beckhams, the quality control there is second to none. So you have to know how to do things perfectly. So then you transfer those same skills into your own brand.
Wow.
So.
And with now that you have your factory and now that you've designed a brand, are you still working with all these other companies like Topshops and ASOS, or is it just strictly independent?
I mean, now it's strictly independent. The things I do want to go back into selling with the retailers,
right?
Like Selfridges, Harrods, and get the products in there, because I really enjoy the retail side of the fashion business, designing the product, selling it to a store, and then moving on. And that's more my business hat.
Right,
And I guess a lot of designers, because I mentor a lot of designers, they don't see the value in the whole retail sector.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, wow, that's an incredible journey. And do you, like, if you had to say, is there anyone that kind of appreciates your work in a sense? It could be like your wife, or it could be like clients. I don't know who else. You.
Who appreciates my work?
Yeah, who you feel that most that kind of really appreciates what you do, like values what you do?
I think what's starting to happen is younger designers are starting to pay attention to my work, and that's maybe because I give a lot of advice,
right?
That the universities should really be giving. And I'm very direct in terms of the way I talk. So I guess when I do give advice, it's very succinct, but it's punchy. and you either can take it or not.
Yeah.
My advice has come from making a catalogue of mistakes,
Yeah.
losing a lot of money. So if I give you advice on something, it's because I've done it the hard way.
Yeah.
By all means, learn through your own mistakes, but no one can tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love that. Wow. And is there any kind of misconceptions to what you do, as in being a fashion designer, a creative designer?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of misconceptions?
I think that before I got into fashion industry, I guess I thought it was quite superficial.
Okay.
And there's certain elements of it that are like doing fashion shows. I mean, that makes up 2% of my job. Probably 1%.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And in terms of the way I kind of conduct myself, education is not priority, but it's close to the top for me. Teaching other designers not only how to sew, but how to run their business. So I try and be as unsuperficial, that's the word, as possible. I don't really read what's in the magazines.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what's in the I'm not that kind of fashion designer.
Right.
The way I work is I don't even ask the customer if they like my design.
Right.
Because it's my job to know what to design for you. Okay. I just have to understand your psychology. And if I've done my job well, then you'll spend money. So that's the way I work. And then there is I guess what I used to see as the disadvantage of being a straight, black, male designer. Designing women's clothes. Because I don't have that advantage where I can try that stuff on and kind of check the fit. So that was why I kind of based the brand around my wife, who I live with. So I see her every day and have some understanding as to what makes her tick and the customer tick.
Right, makes sense.
And I don't want to do menswear. I find menswear boring. Yeah, I mean, unless you're designing for gay guys or metrosexual guys that are really edgy, it's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because gay guys, metrosexual guys, they'll really push the boundaries with design.
Right.
And that's kind of why you got into it, to push boundaries. I'm in the category of being quite boring in terms of where I dress. Right. So my wife tends to buy a lot of my stuff. And most times you see me in the same stuff anyway. Right. And the thing is, I got offered an internship on Savile Row whilst I was doing my degree, but I turned it down just because I knew that menswear wasn't the way for me to go at the time.
Right. Okay, so with women, is I guess a lot more variety, a lot more.
Yeah, it's more fun with it. And then originally being around women, like what young man doesn't want to be around women? So that had a part to play there. And then at the time as well, like I was doing a kind of internship at a salon called Hype Couture, which is an Afro salon in South London. Okay. And the boss of that company is my mentor. Right. So the thinking behind that was to learn how to do hair so that I've designed the full outfit, the full vision. Yeah. And I know my dad's like, what is my son doing? Going completely left it. But I always knew what my plan was. Right. So whoever was looking at things like, what is him doing? It's fine. Just stay with me. There's a point to this.
That makes sense. Wow, what an incredible journey, man. It's amazing. Alright, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go to a different part of the show. And it's a couple of questions. I'll call it rapid fire, alright? So it's either yes or no, or pick a choice. Has any of your design been imitated by fast fashion or retail?
I can't say this for definite, but I remember doing a project at uni for a particular high street name. I won't
You
name
can't
it,
say
but
your
we can.
price. Yeah.
And LCF is, well, London College of Fashion is based in Oxford Street.
Yeah.
So we'd been given the brief, completed it, and then 6 months later, I remember walking past this store on Oxford Street.
Oh,
and you know when
God.
you kind of get what do you call it? Deja vu.
Yeah.
And you see something in your peripheral.
Mm.
It's like, I recognise that.
Yeah.
And then you're looking around thinking, where did I see it? Then you look in the shop window, and it's too coincidental that we've done a project for that store 6 months earlier, and now it's in the shop window.
Wow.
And then I kind of shrugged it off, but then one of I think it was in the year below, one of the other students, that happened to them. But from what I remember, they actually tried to build a legal case.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the thing is, you can't, because you're up against giants.
Yeah.
And that's again one of my issues with, I guess, university, where I don't feel they do enough to protect
your intellectual property.
of the student. I'm not sure if it's changed now, but going through that, it kind of made me think, no, I'm not wasting my time here.
Yeah.
I'll get the pass mark, but I'm not giving you my all.
Yeah, just in case. So yes. Yes.
But I wouldn't recommend anybody else does that, because nowadays the degrees are £9,000 a year.
Yeah, I know. So yes.
Sorry, what was it?
Do you feel it's been imitated, your design?
Yeah.
So for our second question, what do you find more enjoyable? Designing, drawing, or tailoring, making the product?
Making the product.
Making the product?
Yeah. Definitely. I don't do much drawing anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I tend to design on the machine and draping. So,
What do you mean design on the machine?
like, I guess it's a technique called draping, where you kind of cut the fabrics on the body and then you sculpt it around that way.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds technical.
Yeah, I kind of
technical.
equate it to how like Jay-Z doesn't write rhymes anymore.
Okay.
Like, he's always
in
thinking
your
about
mind.
his rhymes and just goes in the booth and does it. So I've been doing this nearly 20 years, so
Yeah,
I know.
wow. Okay.
I'm always thinking about the designs and the order of construction.
Okay.
And because I know how to sew to a high level,
Yeah.
I kind of already know what does and doesn't work technically. And because I've got a style as well, I'll pretty much stay within that unless I'm doing a concept piece.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, in your opinion, what method is likely to improve your creativity? Walking in nature or visiting a museum?
I'll probably say walking in nature. Museums are great.
Okay.
They're really, really awesome, but it doesn't do anything for me creatively.
Really?
I'll probably say the only museum that I get excitement from is the Tate Modern.
Okay.
So with me, I try and aim for clarity when I'm designing.
Right.
Which is why I prefer designing at night, because then kids are gone to bed,
But yeah.
wife's gone to bed. I just blare music loudly in my ears and then just kind of work through the process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we're gonna move on to the last part.
Yeah, sure.
In your opinion, what do you think your role or your job plays the biggest contribution in helping society?
I would probably say I think it's the fact that we have built a factory and now we're trying to open it up to other young designers to come in and use the facilities.
Right.
Because it's been quite an investment. And over the past 80, 90 years I've been doing this, I haven't once come across one black owned factory.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them are the Turks or the Jewish community,
Yeah.
or the European community. but I haven't met one that is black owned. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I haven't come across them yet. And then also, I guess what would have helped me is having an environment where I could go in and be exposed to some of these machines, and that improves your technical knowledge and therefore makes you a better designer. And because obviously the machines are expensive, you need to have someone around you to help you learn how to use it and use it correctly, because certain machines can only be used on certain fabrics and that kind of thing. So I think now I've got to the stage where I can contribute back to the wider community society in that way.
That's amazing. So it's open for certain people to use?
Well, yeah, we're going to start scheduling days from October. We're going to call them open days where, you know, students can come in and use some of the machines. And
that's amazing.
Because we have a lot of offcuts of fabric, so I guess it's our way of being sustainable and not just throwing away dead fabrics.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
Hopefully it will work out in the way that we intended to.
Yeah, it should. That's really help. That would really help society, and again, it's community as well. So that's amazing. Do you feel that your role, what you do, being a creative designer, a fashion designer, do you see it progressing in any way? I don't know. It could be now newer technologies coming out, or you know.
Well, in terms of my personal objectives, for the brand, initially we wanted to get to 50 international stockists and then have a store.
Wow.
Then we wanted to... so basically, Oswald Boateng has designed the uniforms for BA.
Right.
Vivienne Westwood has designed the uniforms for Virgin. Stella McCartney did the uniforms for the British team for the 20 Games. So we wanted to design a uniform for an equally prestigious brand.
That's cool.
Put our spin on it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, be it Barclays, be it HSBC, something like that.
That's cool.
But in terms of the bigger picture, there is, you heard of Arcadia, right? So Arcadia owns Topshop. What I'd like to do is create like a parent company where we have a lot of these different designs under our hat, because Gucci owns McQueen, Matthew Williamson, pretty much. I'm sure it's Stella McCartney. Because when I used to get paid by McQueen, it would be Gucci Group.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
you'll be kind of like the parent of these little these other kind of companies.
Yeah. So it's a commonly kind of used thing in business, because Zara, Bershka, and Massimo Dutti are all owned by the same company.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's used a lot.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's no different from the music business, where you have the label that has all these artists.
Yeah.
And then I guess you've got their top 3 or top 5 artists that they're pushing, and everyone else, I guess, fights with the scraps.
So that makes sense. All right, fair enough. When you explain it like that, it makes sense. And for one of our last questions is: do you feel there's anything missing in your profession or in the role or in the industry that you are a part of? Some people have said like.
Well, apart from a black owned factory, and I'm someone that I don't like to make everything about race. Generally, it's the last thing I'll reach for, because my kind of mantra is, even if someone is racist towards you, then so what? And I mean that in the most respectful way possible, because there's always going to be an obstacle in life. And in terms of, like, because I've got two girls, what I would try and teach them is that someone's going to be prejudiced against you because you're a girl.
Yeah.
Because you're not short.
Yeah,
or fat or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
There's always going to be an obstacle. You have to be smart enough to get around that.
Agreed.
So, number one, it would be, I guess, a black-owned factory. I think that maybe a bit more support from, I don't know, maybe a guild, because one thing I notice is that those in the fashion industry, we don't like each other's posts.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of competition.
I don't know how it is. Yeah, because I mean, where I'm based, there's a designer called Alanuko.
Okay.
She's a bridal designer.
Oh, okay.
And her stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And whenever I get a chance to speak with Alanuko, I will do, because
yeah, of course.
When I see real quality work, I'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're not in competition.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It could be a thing where I'm hating on it because we're in the same building, and where I think out of all the designers on site, we're the top two in terms of what we've achieved.
Wow.
But I've done interviews with Alanuko and had a talk about her work, so I think more of that maybe needs to happen.
Right. Okay. So more of a community within a community. In a sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's irrespective of race. That's just within the fashion industry.
Because I can sometimes hear it's quite cutthroat, or it's just like
it does need to
be. Because it's more, everyone can eat from the same pie, I guess.
Yeah, because the way I see it is that my story is very unique, so I can show you how I've done it. Yeah. But how you succeed, it won't be the same way.
Yeah.
So I might as well just give you the advice.
It's been absolutely a pleasure. You coming into the show, you sharing your experiences. I've learned a lot, and even with your brand and your products, can't wait to see them. That's going to be great, and as well as your factory, that is impressive, and I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you.
And I definitely would want to come and check it out. Sure, it'll be good.
If I can just mention two more people
of course.
I guess are really influential. There's a guy called Andrew McCormack who again does bridal. He used to work for Burberry, and he's a guy that I work with very closely.
Okay.
He's going to be very influential in terms of design and styling in the future. And then there is Nicholas Kingsley, who's also known as Dex.
Okay.
I think he had ripped the runway.
Okay.
But he's got a clothing brand called ODF Clothing, and he's got his fragrance.
Nice.
And if there's any positive meaning of what an entrepreneur is, even though I don't like the term, he would be it, because he's very, very business-minded, and he gets results in terms of what he does. I remember when he did with the runway, I was dumbstruck at how he pulled a crowd, because it was held at Troxy in East London. Okay. It's like a really large concert venue.
Okay.
And he filled it out.
Really?
Yeah. And I think from then I just admired the way he does business. He's I think I'd probably equate him to like Puff Daddy.
Okay, yeah.
For me, he's on that level in terms of the fashion industry. So those are two names. So there's Andrew McCormack, Nicholas Kingsley, Dex, and obviously Alanuko, who's also known as Benny. I think that's
Benny. Okay, I'm gonna definitely check those out. And is there any other thing that, because I noticed that you won an award?
Yeah, so last night,
tell us about that. What happened?
Last night, I received an award for Outstanding Achievement by the African Fashion Awards. So that was certainly really nice to get. Because a few years back, we were up for an award for DHL and British Fashion Council. Okay. And that was that was a fiercely contested award. I think we got down to the last 4.
Wow.
Did a presentation in front of Matches, BFC, the boss of Gymshark, and a few other judges.
Okay. Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, we just narrowly missed out on winning the prize. So.
But this time, well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
won.
Well, they said it was an honourary award, so there wasn't any nominees. They just kind of gave it to me.
It's still no, but you've been absolutely fantastic, man. Yeah, as you know, the show is called The Professionals You Should Know. Is there anyone that you think that we should know?
Yeah, I'd say one person in particular springs to
Okay.
mind, and that is a guy called Dennis Owusu.
Okay.
Owusu Sem is his full name.
Yeah.
And I guess he's within asset management and I guess you can call it international relations.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And he's very influential in the sense of he knows a lot of powerful people, and he prides himself on maintaining those relationships because everyone speaks highly of him in a genuine way. And he's someone that when he connects you to someone, is very much a gold connection, and if it goes south, it's most times it's your fault.
Right, okay. All right, I'm gonna reach out to him. He seems like someone I need to know.
Yeah, so,
All right. No, but again, it's been an absolute pleasure to hear your
thanks for
story.
being on.
It's been amazing. I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely gonna check out number one, your products.
Yeah.
And most importantly, your factory. I'm definitely going to come down and see it and
sure.
see how it goes.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you. And thank you all for joining.